Welcome to the Low and Slow podcast.
We're your girls, Crystal and Laken. If you press play today, trust. You made the right decision.
And know whenever you're listening to this, it's exactly the right time.
We invite you to pull up a seat to the conversation. Get curious about your current perspective.
And lean in for the opportunity to see yourself in another woman's story.
We created That Girl Magic because we've been where you are.
Here, the talk is real and the breath is steady.
Let's get into your next mindset shift. Welcome back, ladies, to the Low and Slow podcast. It's your hosts, Crystal and Laken. And today we are super excited to bring a fellow gal of ours onto the podcast, Miss Laura Southall with My Aligned Life. We have the honor and pleasure of working together, knowing her, doing life with her, and ultimately creating magic in a upcoming retreat that we are hosting in Costa Rica. And so today you guys are going to meet her and get to hear from her. She is literally sunshine in human form, and we're just so happy to have you, Laura.
Thank you. Laura, welcome. We're very excited. And today we want to not only talk about, well, obviously we're announcing the retreat for the first time publicly. So we're going to be talking about the details of the retreat, why we're so excited about it, why we're joining forces with Laura, why we chose the location that we did, to give you guys some insight and get everybody really excited about it, just as excited as we are, and then get some background from Laura so that you guys can get to know her a little bit more. And yeah, we'll go from there. So Laura, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm super excited to be here and to share this space with the two of you, and the magic that you are bringing to the world is it's just so inspiring. So thank you for having me with you, and for the things that we're going to create in the future. I'm all in. So my background is I've been in the wellness industry for 16 years. It all started with autoimmune diagnosis and 9 months of chemotherapy and some experimental medications. That it wasn't until I connected mind, body, spirit, and chose Eastern medicine with Western medicine, but more importantly than anything else, taking control over my own health and my own destiny, that allowed me to put myself in remission. And 14 years later, have not been on med since.
It's amazing.
Awesome. That's amazing.
It truly, I felt like I'd been given a second chance at life. And so I actually was a hair color specialist and worked in the movie industry, film industry, and with people who were in that world. And I decided to leave that career because I felt so drawn and called to help people also rewrite their life. No matter whether that was a doctor telling them, oh, this is just the way it's going to be for the rest of your life, a spouse, your parents, the world, whatever it was, that everybody has the opportunity for a rewrite.
Oh, yes. Love that. I mean, I think that's, we know your story, right? Like, obviously everyone listening, is this the first time meeting you, but just to be able to hear that, it's like, you're inspired by us, but like, we're inspired by you, that you have this like testimony, and that you can have so many other women see themselves in you sharing your story. And that's the magic about you. You do that everywhere you go, which is so cool.
I always think it's also really interesting, like the number of lives that we live as women, right? You think about like different seasons, and, you know, you can go back to different iterations, and you're like, oh yeah, like I don't even know that lady anymore. You know what I mean? Like different versions of ourselves in different chapters where we show up and how we iterate and grow, and how different that can look, you know, I think that's just a testament to not limit yourself based on what's happening right now. You never know where you're going to be in the next, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years down the line.
Facts.
Like, could you ever imagine that you'd be here today? You know what I mean? When you were in the salon.
Yeah, to always be evolving and changing, a student of life and a student of yourself, I think is so important. Otherwise, then you're the person who's like, I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere. Nothing changes. This is impossible.
This is just the way it is. Yeah.
Even in this, 16 years ago, when I truly started to make all of these changes, and it took a little bit of time in order for me to get healthy enough to be able to give back to other people. But in this industry itself, I have been an independent trainer. I have managed a big box gym in West Hollywood, and then came here and became my own thing, and was mostly doing fitness and then pooling in the mindset stuff, because you can't have one without the other. And so even the versions of me that I've been in this same sort of position or the same sort of job, I look at myself and think, I don't recognize myself, but I never realized that I could be where I am. But if it wasn't for being committed to evolving, which I think is one of the things that makes you guys such great friends and people to be around, is because we're committed to evolving our lives.
Yeah. Something that you said really stands out to me that I want to touch on, because it's something that we reference a lot. And as somebody that is a wife and a mother and owned your own business, something that you said is that you had to be able to get to a place where you felt healthy enough to show up essentially for the other people that you care about in your life, or to be able, even clients, right, to be able to give back and to have that level of impact. But it was important for you to get yourself to a place to be able to do that. And I think that so many women come from a place of depletion, right? Because we put ourselves last, and we'll say, well, I'll get to that when I have time for it, which the time is never going to make itself known. It's always something that we have to prioritize. But can you talk about how you identified, because I'm sure that wasn't always the case, that you had to be in a place where you were able to actually have capacity for other people?
Well, I don't know if it's fortunately, unfortunately, I am the one who will run on fumes till I'm literally ethers, and have nothing to give. And so it's been my unfortunate experience that I have had to get to the place previously of being completely incapacitated, to have so much aches and pains and physical issues that I had no choice but to go to the doctor and to slow down and to, I didn't have a choice. And so in that came the lesson.
Yeah,
paying
it took
attention.
Like a physical manifestation,
yes,
like manifestation of symptoms, right? To like sit you down, to be like, no, you're not doing this anymore.
Yeah,
which is like a huge point that so many of our listeners can relate to, where it's like they are that, right? And again, in sharing your story, they can see themselves in that. And sometimes it does take something like that to be the thing to sit you down and say like, hey, we got to make a change here.
It's true. And I think that we ignore it, right? Oh, my neck hurts, my back hurts, my hips are just like that. But as time goes on, when you learn the lesson, you realize those are signals like, oh, something is happening. I need to pause. I need to look at it all. But you have to be willing to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be willing to listen.
Yeah. Like, I want you guys, let's back up a little bit here. We were so excited to talk about the retreat and obviously introduce Laura and have her on, and, so many exciting things happening at once. And as excited as we are about the retreat, it's like, okay, who is Laura? Like, how do we know her? Like, and that story is juicy in itself. So, I'll start you guys off. I'm like, okay, you guys were in a program together earlier this year. And meeting through there, and then also deciding to go on an ayahuasca retreat together. This is where Laura then first popped into my life through my best friend here. And then it's like, oh, okay, like now we're all friends. And that's like so exciting. But talk about how you guys met and just how you guys gelled and first, got together in the CCM program. Shout out to Laura of Love. And yeah, talk about that, because some of these things are foreign to anyone listening.
Yeah, it's like we interrupt your regular programming, right? It's like who's this chick? Where'd she come from? But
there's a third edition.
So Laura and I met through a female entrepreneur mastermind container that was 6 months. And we spent time together there. And pretty much, I feel like off the bat, we had the opportunity, I think, within the first couple calls to be like, oh, if there's anybody that you really, think that you click with or that you vibe with, like, encourage you to reach out to them and like get to know people a little bit better. I think it was one of our assignments was like pick 2 women, I think, in the group to reach out to individually after the first 1 or 2 calls. And I think I reached out to you. Messaged you and was like, hey, because when Laura told her story, I was like, and I remember telling Crystal this, I was like, there's a woman that's in the group that's literally living the life that I've seen myself desiring to live. So
she was like compelled, like, I have to tell you about this lady.
Yeah. I was like, she lives in San Diego. Yeah. She's got like this, she's doing work with women. She's like, and the way that she speaks about the work that she's doing, and she used to be more in the fitness space and is kind of transitioning out of that. And like, that was very parallel to my journey. And so I felt really compelled to reach out to her. And so I did, and we had a chat and we were like, oh yeah, like, we definitely vibe. And that continued throughout the program. And then the same facilitator of that program also hosts a women's medicine retreat to sit with ayahuasca. And it would have been both of our first time sitting with Aya. And we felt called to it. And essentially that was my first time in Costa Rica. It was Laura's probably like 12th or 13th time in Costa Rica, if not more. Right?
Laura's home, y'all.
Yeah, Costa Rica is very near and dear to her. And so it was like all the chips aligned for me. It was all the things that I wanted out of that experience, which we'll do a whole nother episode about that to kind of give details about it. But essentially, I knew I wanted a small, intimate container. I knew that I wanted to have the education around it delivered with the ceremony. I knew that I wanted some traditional aspects to the ceremony. I knew that I wanted at least one touch point as far as like knowing someone that was attending or someone that was the facilitator. And because Laura was already very experienced with Costa Rica and was planning on going there and staying a couple days before and a couple days after, a day before and a day after, when we talked about it, she was like, hey, if you want to, you're more than welcome to join me on the day prior and the day after. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. And so everything just felt really, really right. And we went, and it was absolute magic. And I absolutely fell in love with Costa Rica as well. And while we were there, it was like never a conversation that had even happened before. It was just like, we should do something here. Yeah, like we should really. And I was like, I'm going to talk to Crystal about it, but like we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be great.
Yeah. What's funny is like, so hearing about you, Laura, I was already excited to meet you. And then knowing, what this was for Laken, and then for, just the experience of Aya in general, right? That will be its own episode, but it is so, like, it's badass to, first of all, just to be called to do that, right? Then doing it, like, when you get to that point in your journey where you're deciding to do that, that is so special. And then to be able to do it together, and then just what was coming off just anything, Costa Rica itself, the vibe, the land, like what you're doing there. And then when she was there, I have not ever heard my best friend so excited about something. Like I felt like, as she's voice memory texting me, like, you got to see this place, and just like the magic that you feel here and the sunset and this. And the first day, I think when you guys got there, I was like, oh my God, it's like, I'm really seeing where it's like, how I am excited about some things. I'm seeing that in Laken, and I'm like, this Laura chick must be dope. Like, she's having like the best time, And but yeah, just like hearing about your guys' experience, even just when you were there, it's like it's almost like the land decided for us that it's like, hey, there are some magical people coming to me, and like I'm magic, and I got, they just need to experience me one time, and we're gonna come back here and even create more. So it was like, it's decided for us. And of course, it's a no-brainer. Like, This is something that,
Yeah.
Laura, you've hosted retreats before, right? Talk to us more about some of the retreats that you've hosted and, you know, how it fell in line when it was brought up, like, we should do this together. How did that pop up?
Can I start with why Costa Rica? How that even happened?
Please. Please, yes.
So I'll give you a little background of why I've been there 12 times. Costa Rica initially came because after I had healed my my autoimmune disease and gone into remission for that, a couple of years later, my ex-husband, my kid's dad, was diagnosed with with early onset dementia, and that hit our family very hard, as you could imagine. It was originally Alzheimer's. He was given 10 years to live. And so I wanted to make sure that we spent 10 years making the best memories for my kids, because at the time they were like 4 and 13, and also for him to live out his days, his years, the best he could. And then I'd figured it out after that. I would have been 45 when he passed away. But update on that. He's 5 years past his date and doing fine. So, but at the time, of course, we didn't know that. Our family had been through a lot, and he's a surfer. My boys are surfers, and it's a beautiful tropical location. And so with all of this hard news, and we lost our house, all this stuff happened. With all this hard news, I decided we needed to go somewhere that was beautiful. And I had an advertisement in my inbox from Costa Rica to take a trip there. It was a great price. We went. It was beautiful. It was life-changing for all of us. There was a lot of lessons there that I learned around slowing down. So exactly what we talked about earlier is that when you're living on fumes, a lot of times you ignore the people who need you the most because they can wait. Well, at this point in my life, there was no time. They could not wait. And my kids missed their mom. And so the first trip really changed my life, changed for all of us. And so that led to more trips and to more trips. And every time I was coming back from Costa Rica, I would have some sort of epiphany. I'd be writing a manifesto in the airplane. My kids would be having moments. Like, it was my ex-husband was running around with almost zero symptoms. Like, it just has always been such a great place. So then cut to 2019. In 2019, my brother, my dad, my stepdad all passed away in a very short amount of time. And I had a house fire. This is a really shitty year, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But before my dad passed away, I was sitting with him, and he asked me for his Viking shirt. And I'm like, okay, he's in hospice. But whatever you want, whatever you need, get him his Viking shirt. Now we're having lunch. And I said, what did you want the Viking shirt for, Dad? And he goes, because I got shit to do. I said, what do you have to do? He said, I'm going to work on my boat. I'm like, where are you going on your boat? And he said, I'm sick and tired of seeing Costa Rica on your Facebook. I'm going to sail down to San Diego. I'm going to pick you up and we're going to go. And he passes away 2 days later. So I had already been there a bunch of times. I had somebody that I had worked with that we did yoga together. She's a spiritual advisor. She does Reiki. It's on the beach. So I call her up. Her name's Fabiola. And I was like, hey, this is what happened with my dad. And I want to take him on a trip. I want to go on a trip to honor him, to pay homage to him. I'm going to come by myself. Can you connect me with somebody to show me parts of Costa Rica that Americans wouldn't normally see? Like, I want to see the land. I want to feel the things that you feel, because they're just so they're beautiful people with different priorities than we have. They prioritize love and relationships and not money and not titles and none of those things. Anyway, so she was like, yes, I have the right guy for you. So she connects me with a guy named Sebastian. Sebastian is a single dad with a dream and a van, and he wants to be a tour company. And so I went there. I spent a little over a week, and he took me to waterfalls. We went hiking. We saw dragonflies were following us the whole time. Like there's just so many magical moments that I could turn this into a very long talk. So many magical moments, so many waterfalls, so many tears, and just gorgeous moments of me honoring my dad, talking to myself, figuring out how to survive all of this grief that just happened at one time when these were the most important people, or some of the most important people in my life. So we get to the last stop on this week-long tour, and we go into this beautiful cave. The water is turquoise. You can swim in, or you can go in a rope. And I was like, oh my God, this cave feels like Jesus and Peter Pan live in the same cave together. There's a huge waterfall coming down. The ceiling is open, so you've got the sky, and there's a little bit of rock there. And I'm sitting on this log, and I'm looking out at the waterfall, and I can feel it oh gosh, it was just so magical. It was so magical, and I felt transported, and I felt my dad and my brother, and I just was like, And Sebastian says,
yeah,
do you think other people would want this?
Ooh.
Because I want to help people. And I was like, yes.
She's like, what portal am I in right now?
Yes,
like,
I do. Other people want this. And so I finished up my trip. This was in springtime, I believe. And in August, one morning in August, I wake up, I called 9 of my clients, and I said, look, I need to share Costa Rica with you. It has been on my heart ever since I came back. We're going to see this. 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 This is what happened for me. This is how I felt. This is what I've experienced. And I don't know where we're going to stay, and I don't know what we're going to eat, but I do know that we'll have a yoga instructor and someone to drive us around. And 8 out of 9 women said yes, with no price, with only those words. And so I knew this was something. And so ever since, I've hosted retreats there, and it has been transformational for every single woman in some way or another. Some of them are huge aha moments. And that really has been the only rule of the retreat, is that you have to share your aha moments. There's been some huge aha moments about things that have happened in childhood and deep, deep family things. And there's also been like, oh my God, I don't think I've seen the sky in 30 years. I don't think I've looked at a tree. I don't think I've noticed any of these things because I've been face down in my effing desk for 30
haven't been
years.
Present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And which that is a huge aha too, right? In its own right, is like, where have you been? But there's room for more, and there's room for change and evolution. So that's why. That's why Costa Rica.
I want to touch, like, as you're describing it, it's like, I want to go back to what you said of like, I had this moment where it's like, okay, the Peter Pan and Jesus. And then do you think people will like this? Right? Like I get chill. Do you think other people would like this? And in that moment, it's like, now that you've done this, how many retreats have you hosted?
4 there.
Okay. So now that you've done this, and like you've hosted more than that, but just like curating that experience off of that magic you felt in yourself, Lake, when you guys were there, right? Was your, from what I got through text message, I'm like, I know you felt that something similar like that there, like that picture of the sunset that you sent me in the evening was like, did you guys experience that same feeling? Or Laura, have you experienced that same feeling when you've returned in the different ways that you've had, whether it's for retreats or when you sat with Aya and Laken? Did you feel like that when you went back, or like when you were there with Laura?
I mean, there was something definitely stood out to me about it. I've been to other places that are magical, and I've been to other places near there, like Central and South America. But there was something that stood out to me, and it's almost hard to describe. It's just a different feeling. Like, I just felt very different there. I felt very alive and downregulated at the same time.
Yes.
Right. And it was very special to me because I don't know that I felt like that before anywhere else. And so that was something that really stood out. And for me, it was like, it just made sense, right? It was an easy yes. That's what stood out the most. And I'd love to hear from Laura, from your perspective, based on like our time there. Why did you want to do a retreat with us? How did it feel for you?
I think for me, Laken, similar when I met you in the mastermind, I told my husband, I'm like, there is a woman in this mastermind that is like living the life that I just did. I swear to God, those were the words that I said. I'm like, I think that I told him I wanted to reach out to you because I feel like we're on very similar paths. And I didn't know exactly what it was you wanted to do, but you made sense to me from the minute I heard you speak. Like, I want that woman to be in my life, in my world, whatever that looks like. So then when we went to Costa Rica together, when we met there, yes, I had known you for 6 months or 7 months, whatever it was, but you felt very familiar. You felt like family to me. And that doesn't happen often in my world.
Yeah.
I'm a little rough around the edges sometimes. I don't always let people in. But it was very easy with you. And I was like, that's interesting. I have been trying to call in sisterhood. And here I am. God's like, here's a sister. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. She came with another one named Crystal.
Yeah. Let's say it's a BOGO.
2 for 1 special.
I think that what I felt on that trip was sisterhood was a huge part of it, because we were going on a journey. We were going on a journey that was out of this world. And we were already out of our world and in this magical land. And I think one of the greatest things, like, not all of Costa Rica has many different areas, even different types of rainforest, different animals in different places and all this. But there's something that is very symbiotic, I think, about being in the rainforest. There is a down-rooted sense, regulation, I can't say those words. Down-regulated system, a sense of that, of being grounded and rooted, and also expansive at the same time. And
you know what's wild?
Retreat,
You know the movie Fern Gully?
Yeah.
I'm gonna we'll throw this out right here on the podcast, and we'll get it out the way, okay? Like, yes, this shows. I am normally the youngest of all my friends, and this shows up often. where I love movies, but some movies Laken says, I'm like, I have no idea what the hell that is. That was maybe before
it was before your time.
I was born 94. Okay, I have no idea, and I also have to throw. Yes. You would never know. Well, maybe you would. I don't know. I also have to throw this out here, Lake. Sorry, we'll go back in just a second. But you mentioned the sisterhood. Laura, I'm going to always throw this in here because you guys are going to learn even more about human design listening to this podcast. But Laura is also a Manny-gen. So she's a manifesting generator. And it's just interesting the energy that you felt within Laken. It's like, there's this thing, I think Manny-gens, it's like Manny-gens unite. And somehow that happened through the initiator here.
Twins.
Yeah, which is like exciting. But she's a 2-4 Manigen, which like everything we're creating, this makes even more sense. So I just have to put that out there. But go ahead, what you were saying. What's this movie? Fern something?
Oh no, there's a movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. If your kids haven't seen it, make sure they watch it. It's called Fern Gully. It's an animated movie, but essentially it's like these fairies that live in the rainforest and they're like protecting nature, and like pollution is coming in, deforestation and all this stuff. There's like a kind of a political agenda in the background
Laura
that you wouldn't know if you're not an adult. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of, yeah.
See,
Exactly.
no, I
But
know
with
that
fairies
one.
instead of Susie characters, right? But yeah, like I just felt I kept when we were like, hiking through the rainforest and going to the waterfall and stuff like that, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in Fern Gully." Like it's exciting and calming at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's really interesting is that, I have not been to Costa Rica, but from how you guys are describing it, I have felt that same feeling in other countries, right? So I had that was a similar feeling for me in El Salvador. Like it's the feeling of being, like you said, alive and downregulated. And I think, living in the US, that is something that's all our nervous system knows until you get experience to other countries, other ways of living, other cultures. And that's really that I will say, Laura, that was the most attractive thing to me. Like Laken and I knew we wanted to host a women's retreat. And when then, she was telling me about you and then, your guys' experience, it's like if this was the perfect recipe for combining like sisterhood, combining big things that were important to me, like the culture, the land, the vibe, right? What you're going to experience when you're there. And just the fact that you are able, I think what's really attractive, like for anyone listening, it's like your testimony, your story, right? We talk about mindset all the time. The story you tell yourself is, when you start to own that magic in you, right? Where our name comes from, that girl magic, it's like, this is really where the work starts to feel purpose filled, because with your own story, like you're able to know what Costa Rica did for you and what you're creating, especially for other women. And that is the sisterhood and what you were calling in. It's like, dang, all this intention that you're putting out there, like, look what's coming back to you. It's like, it's a super special and really cool to see and hear.
Yeah. So I want to touch on, well, we're going to get to kind of retreat details, right?
Yeah.
Like what you can expect and what's going to happen while we're there and the things that are important to us. Before we do that, I do want to circle back. We talked to Laura about kind of like why Costa Rica, how that happened for her and how that was incorporated into her life and why it made sense for us to collaborate and do this together. Laura, I want you to talk a little bit about your coaching, how you lead women, the methodology, and like how you work with women and what you believe they receive from you.
One of the things that I love so much about my job and about my experience in this world of wellness is being able to witness when a light comes on for another woman, when she realizes her strength, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, whatever it is, when she realizes she has a chance to believe differently, to think differently, to make another choice, that it really does not matter the way that she grew up, what her grandparents did, what everyone else has already thought or said, or all of this stuff that she has built herself around, all the boxes that she's checked doesn't necessarily need to be what goes forward from here on out, and that you have the opportunity to define your life. And so for me, that kind of looks different for everyone. The type of women that I work with typically are these hyper vigilant, do it all women who have corporate jobs and a shit ton of responsibility, and they can twirl 85 plates at the same time. They don't know how to ask for help. Usually they are climbing mountains with high heels and lipstick and they're amazing. Everybody probably looks at them and they're like, wow, I want to be her. She's probably the it girl, right? In a lot of their minds. And inside of her, she's like, if one more thing and I'm going to crack. Or she gets in her car and cries herself all the way home, but nobody would ever know it. And so my role in their lives,
shower criers.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. My role is typically that I am the one who can hold all of the stuff, work stuff, life stuff, mom stuff, history stuff, all the stuff. I can hold all of the stuff and help them find the parts that work more like a domino, where maybe if it's insecurity and you're looking for external validation in order to, you need to rise to the top. So you know that you are a good person. But that really is linked back to your childhood. And here's 15 different examples, 15 different faces, but it's really the same lesson. So I help them unpack the root of the lesson. So then maybe we don't need to unpack everything that has happened in your entire life. We can just work on where it came from. And through awareness, through understanding what is your truth, what is actually your truth in this, and then making decisions around who you want to be in this, who you want to be on the other side of this. Is there another side of this? Is there another side of you? And kind of reworking the way that they show up in their own lives.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. So then they can navigate from a heart-centered place. No matter what life throws at them, they know who they are. And that's what I do.
Yeah, something that is coming to me is a couple months ago, you had reached out to me and said, I'm putting together some materials, like some marketing materials with some promo materials. And would you indulge me in telling me what you think my gifts are, right? Like what it is that I do or what it is that I bring to the table. And I was like, oh, and it was a voice memo that I sent you. But essentially what I said was, I haven't had the opportunity to witness you in like with a client one-on-one, right? But from what I know of you and from my interactions with you, essentially the story of your healing journey, you've been able to take that and your experiences and the way that you believe in possibility, right? The possibility of someone being able to refine themselves in their life, regardless of circumstances, because you've been able to do that for yourself. Right.
Yeah. And I feel like if I can do it, then certainly anybody can.
Yeah.
Yeah. That transfer of belief. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like your belief and evidence in the possibility for a better life is the most beautiful thing that you can transfer that, like Crystal was saying, to somebody else and allow them to see that possibility, most likely for the first time. Right? It's a very refreshing perspective because so often, especially for women, I think we are met with either trauma bonding or commiserating or naysayers because of comparison, where people like, they're like, oh, you sure you really want to do that? Or you think you can really do that? Right. Well, why would anything, just, ugh. Yeah. And so it's like, it's so refreshing to be able to, exactly. Projection of their own insecurities.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful to be able to, like you said, hold all of that, but also to be able to give them that different perspective of like, but look at like, what if the good shit, like, look at what's possible.
What if this is the best thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
You know what I think that is the coolest thing too, is that it's the unattachment to whatever the outcome is, right? That, like, if anything, what makes you a great coach or makes you a great facilitator is I'm unattached, but I so innately believe in my own story, what happened for me, like, and my belief that ultimately I'm going to be this for other women. And when I hold that, it's like, okay, try it on, see what lands, let's leave what doesn't. But like, yeah, what if this could literally, quite literally change your life? Yeah. And it's like, for women, I don't think that there is enough women like that in spaces to give them the opportunity to see that, hey, this is something I can try on. And I have a real life example of it standing in front of me who's offering it.
Yeah. Calling me forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that last episode, calling you forward rather than
or like
calling
just
you
like
out.
Reaching out your hand and being like, hey, like we can do it. You can do it. Yeah. Yeah. That's sisterhood. So I want to are we ready to get into some of the goods?
Or wait, Laura, you were about to say something before. Did you want to touch back on that?
It left me.
Okay, that's okay. Look, this is a fun thing that I always say of like, because that happens to me often. I'm like, oh, come back around on the carousel. It's like, and if it does, you just let us know. But yeah, let's get into the details of the retreat.
So I would like to start with, before we outline everything that's going to be included in this retreat, I would like to start with, because Laura, you have facilitated women's retreats in Costa Rica specifically before. What is it that you are so excited about this retreat in particular that stands out from what you've done there before?
Part of it is the location. The location that we are going to be at for the entire time is where in the past I have taken groups to come and have like a beautiful spa day. And this location, literally on the last retreat, we take a van, we get there, we come out, we walk through the front walkway to walk in, and there was a woman that stopped and was crying because it was so beautiful. She was, and it's not just that it's gorgeous to look at, but it's like, it feels kind of like that cave that felt like Jesus and Peter Pan. It feels like this land has been touched by something beyond belief. So, and the people are kind and so courteous and intentional. Everything about it is intentional. So that's part of it. What I'm excited about that's a little different, from what I have done is what I typically do is help people to pull the plug on the noise of their life and then wake up to be aware that there are things that are more possible for them, that they can have these different beliefs, they can make different decisions, as we just spoke about. But in this retreat, we are going to take them beyond that. So this will be, what is the next step? What is the next level of, yes, I get it, I can do more things, or I can have some change. And now we're really going to walk you through what those changes look like, because we don't want what happens in Costa Rica to stay in Costa Rica. We want you to be able to bring that home, and the version of you that you have discovered there, we want you to know how to be her in your everyday life. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. Yeah, the integration. Yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also something that most retreats don't offer.
Facts.
It's an escape.
Yeah. That's facts. And I think that's one of the things, for spaces like this, right, where if you don't have that around you, right, I think it's really powerful where maybe a version of that can relate for all of us. And it's like, we're really creating that for other women now, right, where it's like it's not that they're stuck. It's that really we just need to integrate this. This is the integration piece is the hardest thing. And I think it's really cool to just also touch on this for a second that, Laken and I met through a medicine retreat. You guys met through a medicine retreat. And I will say from all of my experiences with plant medicine or anything of that nature, where it's like the integration piece is probably the part that most people struggle with. And it's like, well, what if you had that integration, right? That additional support, right? That that mirror during that time, that whatever's coming up is completely okay. And then what do I do with this information, right? And sometimes that can feel a lot. That can feel, I don't know where to start. But it's really cool to see that that's something we're infusing into what we're doing. And the integration piece is huge. And it's honestly, I think it's invaluable. And most women don't understand like what that really consists of until they experience it.
Yeah, the intention is top tier, right? It's like it is all of the things that are important to all of us. It is a fully immersive program. Yes, obviously you're getting to unplug yourself from your day to day and come to be in this tranquil space that is curated specifically for you to be able to access certain parts of you. And we're going to be doing some work. We're going to be doing some inner work on yourself while we're there, right? So it's not a typical vacation that a lot of times you end up needing a vacation from, right? Like Laura said, you should feel like a different woman when you leave here. And you will be taking home some valuable self-discovery information that you will be able to apply should you choose to do so.
Mm-hmm. Like I think what's really powerful when you both said a version of this of like that I felt alive and downregulated that in Costa Rica. And I think it's like, have you ever thought about like, who am I or what woman am I if I was to feel like, let me back up my question. What kind of woman would I be if I felt alive? Right? Or if like, what woman would I be when I'm actually downregulated? And what does that feel like? Who is she? Who am I then? Right? And I think that's really cool to see because it's like, do we experience that day to day in our daily lives? We can try and create it all we want. And this is really like it's an intentional. That's why we've decided to create it as a small group, right? It's an intentional space where that decision you're making by coming allows you to access that.
The being surrounded by support and other people on the same path. And I think too, we have to remember that the kind of women who would come to a retreat like this are usually women who, again, have lots of responsibilities. They have a lot of people in their lives that count on them. So, and normally they put themselves in that place because they love people and they want to help. They want to do their best. They want to protect and grow and whatever. So if they come and are able to become a better version of themselves, are allowed to shed the weight of things that don't matter. Now they're making choices from a new place and they take that home. Yes, it trickles into every single relationship, their marriage, their kids, their boss, their employees, all of this stuff.
Yep.
It does. It really does. And on top of that, something that we maybe don't think about very much is that it gives other women permission to do the same things in their life. To go find that change for themselves because we don't talk about it and we don't see it. There isn't, a woman making choices and boundaries on in every other conversation. It is the misery loves company kind of conversations that we find ourselves in. And so if you are in a position like this and you come back, you're giving other women permission to be able to invest in themselves as well.
Yeah, and like high capacity women are often amplifiers, right? Like you said, we're amplifying everyone around us, but that is draining. And so if you're not putting back into yourself, if you're not recharging, and so imagine being able to go somewhere, not only be able to reset mentally, physically, emotionally, also have experiences to be held through some inner work to figure out, again, where the root of some of these feelings are that keep you feeling stuck in certain areas of your life. And then you're able to come back fully recharged and have that awareness. It's like, it's over. Game over.
Yeah. And I can tell you, and you too may have this experience as well now, when I look at my relationships before, where we all made choices we said yes out of obligation. We stayed in friendships longer than we should, stayed in relationships longer than we should. And now when I look at my life and the women that I spend time with all have the same sort of mindset, and we're all respecting each other's energies and abilities and calling out with love, saying, hey, are you putting too much on your plate? Maybe, you know, maybe don't do that. Or what if you said no? What if you said yes? And it's so much healthier, but I don't know that the version of me over here would have even believed that this was possible if I hadn't gone and done the work of learning.
Yeah, because if I'm coming from a place of lack, I'm certainly not looking at my fellow sisters and being like, you know what, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's like, nah, if I'm struggling, we're comparing our struggle. Like, I'm gonna struggle the hard, you know what I mean? It's like that bullshit. So it's just important to like call to attention that narrative that's very prevalent, and it's really easy to get sucked into. It's like, and you don't have to participate.
Yeah. Or even on the opposite side of that, right? Like, there maybe the people around you are doing all the thing, and then you feel like you're not, right? And it's like, it puts you in that comparison, right? I mean, I think even moms, right? They compare so much, like, oh, you know, Karen next door, like, has her Christmas tree up already and, you know, whatever, and did the whole, like, family costume for Halloween and, you know, whatever. And it's like, I haven't even thought about what I'm making for dinner. You know, it's like so many women live there. And it's like on either of those examples, like, yes, this is an opportunity to, you know, who are you when you have to stop proving, right? Or like performing. And what does it look like to piece yourself back together and not have your puzzle pieces all over the place, right? And like know that what do you want to do with this information? How do you want to integrate it? This is the next iteration. Laura, you mentioned on your retreats, and I want to touch on this because, like you said, you really have evolved with your clients. When you shared with us about like, you know, the exhale, I'm trying to remember the other names that you had said, but like this piece of like tying everything together and how we're also incorporating mindset and story work and, you know, even human design, right? It's like, it's a full encompassed, retreat where like, how has doing these iterations before helped you to get to say, like, this was a yes, and I see where I want to take this now?
I would say really it was the most recent retreat that I had, because most of my retreats have been my clients. The last retreat, I opened up really to referrals and people like that, but I had never done any kind of ads or marketing. So I had a really good concept of who was coming. So it was easy for me to curate it to them. And so on this last retreat, there was more people that I didn't know than I did know, from the get-go. And we had some very beautiful moments. Each woman kind of had her own bit of transformation, and I'm watching them change and have these aha moments, and for them to allow somebody else to hold space for them. You know, that wasn't me. It was just another person at the retreat, and the things that they were sharing about themselves. All of this stuff is so beautiful. And again, just some deep transformations. And then when we got home, there was two women who had come that were from the East Coast. And so I checked in with them like 2-3 weeks later, and they both were like, oh, back to the grindstone.
And East Coasters.
And I'm like, wait, no, not back to the grindstone. That's not what we're doing. And at the same time, I had one of my clients who lives here. She came to my studio, and she was telling me about how she had convinced her husband that they were going to sell it all and move to Costa Rica. And I was like, wait. And she goes, because I loved who I was. I loved how the things that we learned and just how I felt there inside of me, all this stuff. I loved it so much. So this is what we're going to do. And I was like, wait, no. yes, you can move to Costa Rica because it's beautiful and gorgeous and the land is wonderful and the people are wonderful, but you can't, the point isn't for you because you can be a better version of you there. You need to be that version of you here. So and everywhere, no matter where you are on the planet, that you are able to be this person. So I realized that this integration piece and this really like beyond the aha awakening, they needed to really learn how to use this in their life and throughout their life in the day to day. And so to me, again, that goes back to the difference between what I've done and what we're going to do, and why I think it's so important. That answer the question?
Yeah. Because the iterations of it, that's what I wanted to touch on, which I think it's just cool because it's similar with like mindset coaching, right? It's like we see where we've facilitated, we've worked with clients before, maybe in nutrition or in fitness and all of this. And it's like mindset is really that missing piece that allows you to be able to integrate it, right? It's like how we do one thing is how we do everything. Okay, let's get into the deets. Excited to tell you.
Yeah, because you have to be able to look at things differently in order to be able to apply the lessons elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, y'all. Who's this retreat for?
Well, as we've mentioned, for ladies that are puckered. So it is for women that essentially put themselves last often, right? It's they are holding a lot, they are handling a lot, they are, boss babing it through their life, and they're crushing goals, but probably if it's not scheduled for them on their calendar, they're not able to show up for themselves in the same way. They're the go-to, the one that's always available to everybody when they need it. On the outside, they have their shit together. They are what's her name with their, Christmas tree up and Christmas cards already. The photos are already taken. They're ready to send them out, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet, right? It's like all of that. It's like people are looking at it and they're like, "How is she doing it all?" Well, she's crumbling on the inside.
Yeah, well, she's dying on the inside.
Right. Someone that like really wants sisterhood and calm mornings and real conversation that's not full of bullshit and small talk, right? Like the woman that's craving that connection with other women and having that authenticity, being able to take the mask off for a minute, right? Yes. Like being able to be fully expressed and fully seen, who's craving that full body exhale and
the depth.
Meeting a dose of peace.
Yeah, exploring what like the depth even looks like within herself and within other women, and then really seeing where it's like, oh my God, I could actually feel like this when I have that. Yeah. The high capacity woman who have that look of like you have it all together and survival mode is your default. That's really who this retreat is for, right? You're overgiving, you're exhausted, you're, maybe disconnected from your own voice of what, if you can ask yourself, what do I need right now in this moment? And you're struggling to give it to yourself, this retreat is for you. And that's a question that we've talked about a lot. You'll hear a lot, even in our, over last couple episodes, where it's like, there's a lot of women who don't ask themselves that question. And if you did, what would be your answer? This retreat definitely is going to give you that answer.
Yeah. So let's talk about the what. So it's going to be 7 days in the beautiful Costa Rican jungle. It is going to be at this gorgeous, award-winning boutique spa hotel. We are, listen.
De Eros, that's what it's called.
Yes. Or laid for short. Lay Americans. And Laura, I will let you speak to the location a little bit more, but I will say something that was important to all of us, because we some bougie ladies. So something that was important to all of us was, we are going to be incorporating some luxury here, right? And it's not just for the sake of doing it and for being able to advertise it. That's all nice and kiki, but the real thing about it is something that was very important to all three of us. We want all of the participants that are coming to feel extremely cared for.
Yes.
Right. And being able to be in a place that literally represents peace and be able to just drop the shoulders, have that long exhale and be like, I love it here and everything is taken care of for me. Right. That was something that was very important.
Yeah, it was super important. And it's literally like, if you can think of a best friend telling you, I got you. That's what that feels like, right? It's like you're the one that has to worry about everything. And when you come here, it's for you to really be taken care of. And you don't have to worry about a damn thing but your breath. That's it.
Yeah, girl, you just got to get yourself to the airport. And we got you to get yourself to the Costa Rican airport. We got you from there. Laura, can you speak to the magic of Los Altos de Eros?
Los Altos de Eros is about 20 minutes from Tamarindo. Tamarindo is a beach town, surf town. And you take this windy path in through the rainforest to get to it. Again, 20 minutes. I think 5 of those 20 minutes is just the driveway because it is on
the entrance.
Yes, it is on this beautiful acreage.
We're taking land. You to Jesus and Peter Pan. Jesus and Peter
Pan. Neverland, Jerusalem.
If it's not Jesus and Peter Pan, I don't want it. Okay, that's the new reference.
No, we need the female versions.
Yeah, we need the female. Okay, we'll come up.
We'll have to think about who that would be.
Yeah,
who are some magical women?
Peter Pan was a fuckboy for real. Like, talk about some. I'm never gonna grow up. I'm gonna have my own fun island forever, and with my lost boys. Like, no, Peter Pan was a fuckboy.
I love it. No, we're gonna ponder on that because you're right. We do got to come with a female version of that. I'm gonna think about it.
Okay.
So back to the magic. Going through the driveway. You take
back to the magic. Okay, so you're going up this beautiful driveway, which then opens up to Los Altos de Eros. As soon as you get out, you can feel it in the air. We walk through, and there's the beautiful pool is right before us. The rooms surround the pool. The spa, you walk down just a little bit, and similar to where we stayed, Laken, you could look over the edge and see forever, but we will be much closer to the ocean. So you will see over the tops of the trees
views.
And within the trees, and then the ocean on the other side. In the spa portion of this, because we will have a beautiful spa day, in the spa portion of this, it is open, hard to describe. It's open air for part of it, which means you are hearing the monkeys and the birds and all that there is. There's a butterfly that flies in to help out with your massage or your facial. Like, it's just...
I literally have goosebumps.
So it's just so magical. I can't even... It does feel like a slice of heaven. It really does. And they have gorgeous, amazing food. It's gourmet. It's farm to table.
You have a chef.
They have a 20-person staff that will be at our disposal. It's just all so beautiful. And it's the one thing that I will say about Costa Rica, as opposed to maybe some other countries that I've been to, is no matter who, could be the guy at the gas station, the lady checking you in at the hotel, the small business owner, they love their land and they want to share their land with you. They want to share Pura Vida with you. They want you to love their land too. And be changed by their land, so you can go home and hopefully be a better person or be a more happy person. And so to have a 20-person staff of joyful people is that in itself, I think, is a gift.
Yeah. And the property itself is so beautiful. Again, this will be you guys have been to Costa Rica before. This will be my first time, but just like from what I've seen and, things I've experienced too in other countries where it's like you feel the magic, even just looking up the property. If you guys are typing in, oh my God, you feel the magic. And to have the entire property at that, right?
Yes.
That is going to be, this is exclusive. It's luxe. It is small. It's intentional. It is, it's interactive and, it's integrating.
Intentionally intimate.
Yeah, intentionally intimate and integrating what we've called it, the Peace, Play, Love retreat. right? Because you're going to be experiencing all of those things there, and really showing and really seeing how to infuse them back into your life. We're excited. We're excited to share it with you.
Crystal, what are some of the things that we're going to be doing while we're there?
I'm like, how excited do you want me to get about them? Level. Okay. So, some of the things that we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing story work. We're going to be having workshops. We're going to be doing art therapy. We're going to be enjoying the nice spa. We're going to be hitting a farmer's market. We're going to be having intentional time with the sisters who were there. We're going to be taking a cooking class. Like we're going to be doing, it's not that we're there to overwhelm you with all the things. We're somehow going to be doing everything while doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
And the main things is that we're really just going to allow you to come exactly how you are, be exactly how you are, and be ultimately cared for, and just to see how when in different spaces, whether it's the workshop or whether it's like the celebration dinner, or whether it's during your massage or, even through sound healing, like there's going to be so many different things that you're doing where you're discovering more about yourself while you're doing all of these activities, right? You're going to get that.
And we've curated the itinerary so that it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yes.
Like we're making it so
that's why
that
I said, how excited do you want me to
we've set up things where it's like we're going to be doing some outdoor activities, and then we'll have a down regulating activity. We're going to be doing some integration with self inner work with the workshops, and then we'll go into some downtime. So everything is very thought out and intentional to make sure that you are getting the absolute most out of your experience while you're there, and also getting some of the self-work that you're coming for and getting to experience Costa Rica. We're going to be doing a full day of excursion to be able to get to see different parts of the land. And the guy that actually Laura spoke about earlier, Sebastian, that's been her ride or die go-to in Costa Rica. He's going to be touring us around and showing us some beautiful, beautiful sights there. And we'll have some outdoor experiences. Laura, do you want to touch on kind of some of the things that we'll be doing while we're there?
Sure.
For the excursion?
For the record, since that first meeting of Sebastian and I, he with his dream, me with my dream, his dream as well has come true. So now he is more than a single dad with a van. He is a single, well, I don't know if he's single. He is a guy who now has, I think, like 6 different shuttles, and he has employees, and he too is doing the good work. So congrats to him. But he will be taking us around. We will have private transportation the entire time, private tour guides, everything private, right? The whole thing, as you said, very intentional. He will be taking us out to experience what it is like to be in the rainforest. We'll go for a little hike. I believe that we are going to, do a little horseback riding. If I remember correctly, we are going to visit this beautiful turquoise blue water. And one of my favorite things to do is going and experiencing the volcanic clay. So I don't know if you're familiar with blue zones, but this is part of the area that is considered a blue zone of in Costa Rica, which is an area that essentially, long story short, people live longer in these areas because of their lifestyle, their mentality, all of the stuff. So one of the things is this experience with the clay, and we will go and experience it. So basically, you are...
Don't give it all away.
Never mind.
Don't give it all away.
But we're going to experience...
We got to save some magic for when they get there to surprise them.
That, as well as we will have a beautiful dinner right on the beach, a private dinner at the end to say congratulations and thank you, and just, put a beautiful ending onto our week there.
Yeah, the big thing I want to touch on is that if you ask the Manny-Gens to give the details, we're going to give you the details. Okay. We got all the details for you. However, this is what it's like, if the excitement levels are here and there's magic that's going to be happening there. The main thing is, yes, all of these things are great to know. And I think what's really special is that during this time there, you're going to also be interacting. Like, this is not a retreat where we just come and tell you this is what you're doing, and we are also experiencing it with you. We are really holding you in this space. We are really creating this space to be a safe place for you to land. And I think, I've seen in other containers where it's like just being able to interact with the facilitators in a way where, like, we're also women in here with you, right? Like, this is your girlhood. This is your sisterhood. This is something where, we got you, and allowing, just like in storywork, right? Where we're being the witness, and we're here to hold you, and we're here to curate, like, all of what we have planned out for you is super intentional, very curated, and it's going to give you this experience that we're just so excited to create for you.
And I believe
we'll also
that
be
there truly
very
is
available.
Yeah.
A message for one is a message for all quite often. And I think that's the beauty of this, is that everybody gets something out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, like, the story work, the truth telling, the somatic downshifts, the emotional regulation, the identity work, and really overall, like, the reinvention, right? Like, this is 7 days of real, raw, like, safe, honest, grounding, intentional experience that we're going to get to experience with you. And, this retreat, yes, we want to have, this episode, we want to have Laura on. We want to talk to you about the retreat. There's literally so much that we could tell you. And if anything that you're listening to is ultimately sparking something in you, like, please reach out to us. Let's have a conversation about it. Connect with us. That's the big thing. We want this to be, as we're rolling this out and, creating this baby of ours to share with you. We want to be able to connect with you and see what this can look like for you, right? Where this does, if you land in something, if you have heard something that we've said today and landed there and it's sticking with you, we want to have that conversation, because it's not just to say, hey, come on this retreat with us. Like, it's intentional. There's 9 spots. These are intentionally spots for the woman who's ready to welcome this into her life.
Yeah, and we'll be weaving in these themes, and the goal is to redefine them for you, right? Like, can you redefine what peace looks like for you? Can you redefine and maybe find for the first time what play actually feels like for you? Can you redefine what love looks like for you, and primarily self-love, right? So these are the ways that we want you to hold that mirror up. We're going to hold a mirror up for you. There's 3 of us and 9 of you, so we'll have a lot of intentional support that's available. If at any point you find yourself struggling with anything that comes up, or that you want any additional coaching, we are there as a resource. Like, we are there to help guide you through that process while we're having that experience. And so June 17th through the 23rd of 2026 is when this is going to be going down. Yes. So we are very, very excited, and we'll be rolling out, obviously, promo and launch for this, and any additional details, like Crystal said, please feel free to reach out to us, so that way we can answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, really kicking this off really before the end of the year, so that you guys can take advantage of what that can look like. And we'll put those details in the show notes for you. The more we talk about it, yes, I'm so excited. And it's like, we can't give it all away. So if anything has sparked interest or conversation, Laura, would you like to add anything, my gal, before we close this episode out?
I would say that Costa Rica calls to people. So if you hear us talking about Costa Rica, and then you walk in for your yoga class and somebody there is talking about Costa Rica, and then Facebook shows you Costa Rica, just pay attention to the signs that are coming your way, because it truly, if there is something inside of you that's like, maybe, what if, we're happy to talk to you about it. We want to help you decide whether or not you're a good fit for this. We are open and ready for those conversations, and hope you are too.
Yeah.
Listen to the call.
Yes.
Pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. The hotline's calling. Pick up the phone. I love it. Okay. This was so much fun, and just a little taste for you guys of we originally said okay, we're going to get going, and then we'll bring on guests. And it's like, yeah, our first guest, of course, has to be someone that we're also creating magic with. And it's just so special. And this episode's been so fun. And if you guys have enjoyed hearing us, right? And this is what, our fifth episode. And if you've been enjoying so far and like what you're hearing, please rate, like, save, subscribe, all the things.
Share.
Like, I haven't share.
Yeah, share it. Share this one for sure. You know somebody that needs this retreat, you better share it if you're a real one.
Yeah, facts, right. Do all the things, there's no, it's like, you hear people say the same spiel at the end of every episode, and that's not how it's going to ultimately be for us. But please, we do really, it means the world to us, just to see that you guys are enjoying what we're creating, and ultimately sharing the gifts that is this platform. So we are really honored to have you listen. We're honored to share the experience with you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
And maybe we'll see you in June.
Yeah, we'll see you in Costa Rica.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.